Hey guys, thank you for coming back to my channel. You might hear my dishwasher in the background, I apologize. But I have a highly requested video. I feel like since I started my YouTube channel, this has been something that I've been asked about. I am gonna share how I edit my photos. I almost said video, but I'm gonna share how I edit my photos with you. And I am so excited because I feel like I'm always kind of critiquing how I edit my photos, and that's a big reason why I had never shared it with y'all, because I don't know, I was being like insecure about it. But I want to jump in and just teach you how I edit my photos, and I will be sure to share which apps I use. Just to let you know too, I do sometimes switch it up and maybe use a different filter. I'll try to share the 3 things I use the most and let you know what I think. So first up, let me find a photo that I think that we should edit. We're gonna open it. Hey. Okay, I'm very distracted by Duke all the time. But you're so cute. I love you, my little weirdy son. Okay, I'm gonna find this photo. Duke, I'm trying to teach a tutorial here. I know that you don't care, but they want to know how I edit my pictures. Do you want me to cancel? Is it canceled? It's canceled? Can I do it?
I think he's ready. I think he wants to learn.
Alright, Duke's ready. He's taking notes. Okay, so I'm going to take you on a step-by-step. Please ignore the 294 and 666,000 emails that I have. We're actually going to go on airplane mode during this. And also ignore my nails. So, first step is going to be, I'm going to show y'all the photo up. There's a little selfie from earlier. From earlier, I mean 3 minutes ago. We are going to edit this photo. So just to give you an idea, I typically take anywhere from 50 to 400 photos to get one shot. Hopefully it's more of a 50 day and not a 400 day. But this is a photo I took with Danny and Positano, and we took, I think, like 40 photos. Not that many, and there weren't that many people out, so it was really easy. But what I typically do is I favorite my favorite shots. That way I can look at the 5 or 10 that I really loved and maybe send it to a friend or someone that I trust and ask them what their favorite is. Yes, I am a psycho and I do this. So if you go to my favorites, you can see that I have a ton of different favorites. So we are going to take this photo and turn it into this. Okay, so the first step that we're gonna do is we're gonna go into Snapseed. You're gonna tap to open a photo, and we're gonna go to open from device, all photos. Well, typically what I do is go to favorites and find it, but it's way deep in the deepness of my 102,000 photos. So we're just gonna go here to the favorite. We're gonna click tools and selective, and we are just gonna go in, and I'm going to show you that again in case you missed it. I'm going to go to tools and selective, and then we are going to zoom in on an area. Typically what I use this for is to either brighten or saturate an area. So I'm going to go here and I'm just going to lighten. If you can see, it kind of shows you in red the areas that are the darkest colors of what you have highlighted. And I am just going to, you can either go in or out. So tools, selective, we're gonna go in, and I am just going to brighten the area just a little bit, and then tools, selective again, we're gonna go just right on my legs. I think it's because it was the bottom part of the photo, and I'm just gonna lighten it a tiny bit more, and then we are going to click on the top of these mountains, and we're also just gonna brighten that a little bit more so it kind of has that haziness going on. And then tool selective one last time, zoom in on my face, and we're going to lighten my face a little bit as well. So, whoop. And then we're gonna click this check mark. You can click down to see what we lightened. Okay, and then we're gonna click export, save a copy. I always save a copy, I don't save over the other photos. And then now we're gonna open Afterlight. Afterlight is typically where I pick a filter, but I do have a few other ways, and I'm gonna show you that in just a minute. But now we're gonna open Afterlight, and we're gonna go to the photo that we just lightened and click use. And then because this photo is off center, that's the first thing that I wanna fix. So we're gonna click the 5th from the bottom, this cropping tool, and then we're gonna click the first button that is now popped up on the left side. You can do different dimensions or do square if you were creating something that you needed for a specific size. That is great. I typically just do free though, and I just want to make sure that I am centered in this photo, as I think it looks a little bit off the way that it is. And then I'm gonna click save with the check mark. And now I am going to click the second button on the bottom that's 3 little toggles. I'm gonna click this clarify here. This can really get crazy, so we're just gonna try to keep it at about, let's say 20%, and then we're gonna click the check. Now we're gonna click the brightness. We could get it really bright or really dark. I don't really think this photo really needs much brightness. We're gonna do 2 or 3 just for fun, but it really didn't need that. And then now we're gonna go to, there are 5 different sets of filters that Afterlight has. It's original, guest, seasons, wander, and fusion. I am gonna click on wander and go to cascade. This is a filter that I use on almost all my photos. It creates this really nice vintage orange aesthetic. It honestly kind of looks like an old Positano postcard, but I don't want it all the way up. It's a little bit too faded for me, and my skin looks kind of crazy. So we are going to take this toggle here and bring it up to about 50%, a little bit more. And you can see the crop and the fade. And then we're gonna click on the second toggle again, but this time on the 4th, it's like a fading from a dark gray to a white, and this is saturation. We're just gonna up the saturation to about 21%, and you can really see, you could really get crazy with the saturation, so be sure not to go too crazy, but I think that we're gonna go back in and actually add a little bit more of cascade. I tend to kind of keep adding until I feel like it's not too much, but it has the vibe that I want. And now I just want to show y'all, because I get questions about this a lot. If I wanted to, I could add in here on this 4th button, there is these dusty packs, and there are so many, but basically what they do is add in different textures. They add in all this dust that I feel like I get asked about. I don't add it in a lot of my photos, but when I do, I get a lot of questions about it. And you can just add that in, and then this button here, that's the, it's like a little square with an arrow around it. You can click it and it will turn the dust pack that you have on the photo. So I can turn it here. A lot of them are on my face, so I wanted it to not be on my face. I can keep turning it and then kind of dial it down or turn it up all the way. Totally a personal preference. And then I don't want any on this photo, I believe, though, and I'm gonna click done, save. So I just want you to make sure that it saves on max, and then that you just click save. You don't want to save it on small or medium unless it's for something specific that needs that size, because it's gonna make the photo really low quality. So now we're gonna X out of this, and we are going to go to Darkroom. And in Darkroom, you can see all my shameless selfies. I'm gonna click on this, and now that the photo imported, I'm gonna click the third from the bottom toggle, and then that's the circles all crossing into each other. This app is very similar to Afterlight, but something that it has that I can't do in Afterlight is edit and manipulate all the colors. So just to show you an example, if I wanted to take out all of the yellow, I could. And sometimes if you're taking a home photo or a photo at a cafe where the lighting was super yellow, it is very helpful to be able to take out that yellow light, but here we actually want it. So we're gonna click on the orange, and you could make it really, really crazy. I'm just gonna bring it up just a pinch and then bring the luminance up a bit as well. And then I'm gonna click on the green because I really wanna bring out the green and these hills a little bit more. So I'm gonna bring it up, and then I'm gonna lighten it just a little bit. We can look at the hue here too, but I feel like it doesn't do that much. And then, yeah, we're not gonna do too much here, but I have changed things like the blue of the water, or if I had on a color red and I wanted it to look more pink, or I wanted no red in the photo at all, this is the app that you can take out colors or make them a different color. So here I'm gonna click this at the top, save a copy, done. And now we're gonna X out of that, and we are going to go back to Snapseed. So I click on Snapseed. We are going to open all photos. We're gonna open the last one that we were editing. There it is. So we're gonna click Tools, Selective. We're gonna go back to the Selective tool. What we're doing this time is gonna be a lot different and something that I think you will find really helpful. So we're gonna go into this mountain here, and something that's really great about Positano is the colorful, beautiful mountains that when you first pull up to the coast, you're just mesmerized by. They're so beautiful. And I am going to click there. And like I said before, I'm gonna go into the targeted area. I don't want it to do the whole photo, just the targeted area. And I am going to bring the saturation up and the contrast up just a little bit. So if you look back, you can see that it's just adding color back in to maybe where it either wasn't strong enough because the photo was really, that day was really bright and didn't copy the colors as much, or maybe it wasn't that bright in the first place and you just really want to add it back in. So you're going to click Tools, Selective. We're going to go back over here, zoom in on the area. We're going to brighten it a little bit, and then we're going to do contrast, saturation, save. Now we're going to keep going back and doing this to each little area. And I do recognize this is a lot of work. This takes a long time. You guys asked how I edit my photos, so I want to be truthful with you, but I don't do this to every photo, just the ones that I think need this extra pop of color, or I want it to have this certain effect. So there's an example of where the contrast doesn't look good. It makes it look really dark right there. So we're not gonna have it, we're gonna take it off. We're gonna add the saturation in because we want that color. And then we're just gonna brighten it. Selective. Now we're gonna go over by this green little patch. There's a little bit on my face, so we wanna make sure it doesn't do anything crazy to my forehead, but I think it's okay. And let's see. See any spots that we missed. Okay, so just to show you guys one last time, I'm gonna change these mountains that are the green. I'm gonna brighten them just a pinch and then bring the saturation up a little bit more just so it has this really dreamy colorfulness to it. And now really quick, I'm gonna selective. I'm just gonna lighten my face one more time. Just a little baby bit. And there is the before and after of the colorful mountains. I would maybe even go back in and detail just a little bit more, just get every single one, but I don't want to bore y'all too much with going in and coloring these. So I'm just gonna click export, save a copy, wait till it fully says successfully saved. There we go. And now we are going to go into Facetune. Facetune, I think, has a bit of a negative rap, but I'm gonna show you what you can use in Facetune that actually I think can make your photo, especially iPhone photos, pop and look awesome. So I'm gonna make sure to use maximum size. Don't use recommended size because it's gonna make your photo smaller. So what we're gonna do is go in, and what I like to use is two different things. So I'm gonna go to the details tool. We're gonna move out really quick, so make sure you pinch over to the left and click move. And then we're gonna go to details, and we're just gonna detail. This just depends on what you want to stand out. For me, I'm gonna detail like my sunglasses a little bit. I'm gonna detail my bun. I'm gonna detail my mouth, my necklaces, maybe even my body just a little bit because I really want to stand out in the photo. If we wanted to, we already did so much here that I'm not going to detail it, but let's say you didn't do that and you wanted them to stand out, you could just lightly, like, what you want to do is lightly touch. You don't want to go really hard pressing down. And so that's one thing that I really like to use, and I think that it can really make your eyes pop, make your accessories pop. You don't want to hold it down heavily like I just said because it's gonna create this really grainy effect, but whenever you have it just lightly brushed, it creates a really nice, really nice look. And then what we're gonna do now is take the tones. So let's say I forgot to wear lipstick that day, or I was just having so much fun and I didn't want to put any on. What I would do is go here. Oh, I'm gonna show you again. So I'm gonna go to tones, palette, and you can scroll through. I mean, we could put purple lipstick on me if we wanted, but we're gonna go for kind of a bit of like an orangey, let's try more red. So we're gonna go for like this kind of pink peachish reddish color. I don't think this photo needs this, but I will show y'all this just because this is something I think is helpful about Facetune. So now I can go in and paint on this lipstick. So I'm just painting it on. You don't have to use this as just lipstick either. Let's say part of your dress ripped and you want to paint in a little bit of black to fill it in or something like that. This could be helpful in a bunch of different ways. But now, after I painted it in, I'm going to click erase, and then I'm going to lightly and carefully go around it because I don't want it to get too crazy and be really going all over the place so that you can tell it was painted in. Now we're going to zoom out. If you look, you can see what we painted in. So you can see that we detailed my mouth, we detailed the sunglasses, and I now have on like a brighter colored lipstick. So now we're going to click this top, save to camera roll, saving, and there is one way, and that's probably one of the most popular ways that I edit my photos. Let me show you a before and after. So here is the before and after of this photo, so you just can see that we really added a lot of color and made those mountains look super dreamy. Beautiful. Okay, so now I'm going to show you this photo, and another way that I sometimes edit is on VSCO. So let's say I tried the Afterlight filter cascade. I wasn't loving it, and I decided that I wanted to go try VSCO out. So we're going to open VSCO. We are going to click the plus sign, and then we're going to click favorites, and we are going to go to this photo here. Okay, it's successfully imported. We're going to double tap on it, click this toggle here, and then I actually already have my favorite filters favorited at the bottom, but you can click all presets and scroll through to really see all of the options that you wanted. But we're gonna go to my favorites just so I can share with you my favorite ones. M5, it washes out this photo a bit, but I feel like I definitely have used it several times because it has this nice, I'm gonna say hipster for lack of a better word, but it has just this nice effect to it. C8 adds in blue and I think looks amazing in this picture. G2, I don't love on this photo, and then S6 I like, but I definitely like C8 more. So I'm gonna click on C8 and I am going to take it down. So this controls how strong it is. I'm just gonna take it down to about 11, and then I'm gonna click here at the bottom, and you can do so many different things. I'm gonna click saturation just like I would on Afterlight really, and I'm gonna bring up the saturation just to about 1.3, and if I wanted to I could mess with like the white balance. I wanted to make it a little bit less blue, a little bit more yellow, which I typically like. I like this filter and I like that it adds blue, but I like going and warming it up just a little bit more. And then we could mess with the tint if we wanted. I don't really think we need to though. We're gonna click the check mark at the bottom, and then we are just gonna click save so you can really see the difference when you go to save it. And then again, I'm just gonna do that again. Make sure you click save to camera roll and then actual size, because again, you want it to be that large size. And now we're gonna go to Facetune and we're gonna click open photo. We're gonna go to this photo. This photo is one that I feel like looks so good. There really isn't that much that I need to edit to it, but I'm gonna zoom in and now I can really show y'all what I mean when I say detail. We're gonna click detail and we're gonna detail my eyes. So we're gonna lightly touch on them. We're gonna lightly touch on the end of my hat, on my hair, and then we're gonna lightly touch on the buildings to really bring them out so that you can see that beautiful skyline. And then if you wanna detail your bag, a little bit of the coffee, a little bit of your boots, again, just really lightly touch it. And we can see, you can see if you look closely that it just is detailing certain areas. Okay, and now we are going to, I feel like this photo just is pretty good, so we're just gonna click this, save to camera roll, and then we could, if we wanted to, let's say you wanted to add in a little bit of that cascade, we're gonna go to Afterlight and we're gonna click on the photo, use, and then we're gonna click wander, cascade, and then we could add this in a little bit if we want. Let's say we're gonna add about 23%, save it. Just adds a nice little bit of a warm kind of vintage tint. We're gonna go here, click saturation, bring it up just a baby bit. Boom. Done. Save. Okay. Okay, and here is a side-by-side of how I edited this photo. This one you can really see a crazy difference, and I tend to like things that are more colorful, so I just added a lot of colorful into this, I added a lot of colorful things into this photo, and I really love the end result. So now I want to show y'all one last way that I edit my photos, and I am going to use this really cute photo of Danny as an example. I love this photo because he looks like a little bear and he's sitting above a bear. So I'm gonna take this photo and import it into Lightroom. Lightroom is all the rage these days. I feel like I hear different Instagrammers, YouTubers, everyone talking about this all the time. And I have a love-hate relationship with Lightroom. I think it creates really professional photos, which I don't always love having because I like my photos having this relatability to them. but that's for a whole nother video because I feel like that probably sounds really confusing. So I'm gonna click camera roll. We are going to go down to favorites, and now I'm gonna find that photo of Danny. There it is. We're gonna click check mark, click on it, and now basically what you do in Lightroom is you can either buy from different Instagrammers, different photo editors. There are a million different places, but you can buy different presets, and I'll show you exactly how to copy and paste them. What I like to do is if you buy one, still tinkering with it and figuring out how to make it your own. But I am going to go back to a previous photo. Let's do this one. And I'm gonna click here. Let's say I had edited this photo and I love the colors. Obviously this photo is not amazing, but I love the colors. I love the way that I edited it. So we're gonna click this, and then we're gonna click copy settings. We have all these settings copied. Typically, just so you know, you do not want crop copied, just because obviously the crop might be different. But we're gonna click OK. We're gonna go back. We're gonna go to the photo of Danny. We're gonna click this again, and then we're gonna click paste settings. So as you can see, it washed Danny out a little bit and needs a bit of tinkering. So we're gonna click light, and then we're gonna bring the exposure down a bit. You could make the highlights either darker or lighter. We're gonna make it a little lighter. And then we could either contrast the photo a lot, not, totally up to you. And this app is really great because of the fact that you can change so many different things. So, I mean, we could just really do anything here. What I really want to show y'all though is some of my photos have a heavy grain on them, and the way that I do that is through this app. I've tried adding grain on other apps and it's not the same, it's not as good. So what you do here is click effects, and then you're gonna go down, and then where grain is there, I'm just gonna bring it up to, it's about there, and it just creates this feeling that I actually took it on a film camera. It has this vibe that's especially kind of, it's like you're sharing a photo diary. It has this intimateness to it weirdly. And I could even go in if I wanted to make the photo more blue, more yellow, more green, more pink. So I think we're gonna keep it kind of like it is. Now that we have the grain, I might lighten it a tiny bit. But, I mean, there's so many things that you can do in Lightroom, and it's so technical and specific to each photo that you kind of have to go in and tinker with it. But one of my tips is to buy a preset pack, because that's just a cool way to kind of test out somebody's preset pack. My girl Jaglover has one, and you can kind of tinker with it to make it your own. So now that we have this, we're gonna click save to camera roll, maximum available, saving. So let's just say in this photo, that's all I was doing. We're gonna click open photo, maximum size, same exact thing, where we're gonna go in and we are just gonna detail this photo ever so lightly. We're gonna do Danny's eyes, his teeth, his hair. We're gonna even do the bear post picture a little bit. We're gonna do this pullover a little bit. And even though the photo is really grainy, because you lightly touched on these features, it's just making Danny stand out a little bit more. So we're gonna save that. And then we're gonna go into Afterlight, and we are gonna import this photo of Danny that we just did. Use. And we're actually gonna see one time if Cascade works on this photo. So we're gonna click on Cascade. It makes it kind of washed out, so we're just gonna do a little bit. And then we're gonna click the bottom, bring out that saturation a little bit. Actually, I don't like the saturation. We're not gonna bring out the saturation. We are gonna click done, save. So I just wanna show you really quick the before and after again, it just has this really cool nostalgic vibe that I love using the grain on Afterlight for. I could honestly even take in the photo that I edited previously into Lightroom. I'll show y'all really quick. So I'm gonna take in the Positano photo because I think that this also has a vintage vibe and will look really cool to have some grain. So I'm gonna click Effects, bring it down, and I'm gonna bring the grain up just a little bit. And as you can see, it just creates a really old looking picture, which I love. And I don't know, I just love the grain effect that it has, but specifically on Afterlight. I hope that you enjoyed getting to see how I edit my photos, and I hope this has helped y'all learn how I edit my photos in the apps that I use and figure out your style and how you like to do them. Please, please, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. It means so much to me whenever y'all do that, and let me know what you want to see below. I am really on a roll making videos that y'all want to see, so if you tell me, I will try my hardest to make it. And yeah, I hope that you like this. See you soon.